Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of Stringer's Notebook. I'm your host, Joel Huerto, editor and publisher of OneManFastBreak.net. Before I dive into today's notes, please hit like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And also feel free to drop in a comment or two. All comments are appreciated around here. And today's notes is about the 2025 NBA Summer League in Las Vegas. I had the pleasure of attending the Summer League in Vegas. It's always a fun event for me. I try to go to as much of these Summer Leagues as much as I can. I know it's kind of impossible to go every single year. I haven't been back in a few years. But this year, it was fun. And definitely not going to be the last time I'm going to be going to Summer League. I highly recommend it. If this is a basketball fan's heaven, a hooper's heaven. It's an event for fans. It's a good way to see some of the players up close and NBA executives. You could run into anybody, really. If you're going from one arena to the next, you might run into a player or players and maybe run into some celebrities. LeBron showed up to watch Bronny James. LaMelo Ball showed up to watch some of the new Charlotte Hornets. You had the Portland Trailblazers contingent to watch the new crop of Trailblazers. So it's a really cool event. It's not very expensive, even though the tickets are not cheap. But for the money that you pay, it's worth it. You get to watch 10 hours of basketball. If you can sit through 10 hours of basketball, able to watch all the games, it's definitely worth it. It's quite an experience. So anyways, so recapping the Summer League this year, here are some of the key takeaways I had from watching as much as I could. I wish I watched every single game. It's almost impossible, but I tried. But I did watch a ton of games. So my top takeaway, this year's number one pick, Cooper Flagg, is as advertised. He lived up to all the hype. I saw the first game, his debut, prime time. It was on a Thursday against the Lakers and Bronny James. He didn't shoot very well. And he even called it his worst game of his career, which is kind of crazy to say that because he wasn't really that bad. And if that is his worst game, then the league is in trouble because Cooper Flagg is the real deal. And he plays at a different level. He already looks like an NBA player. And the thing that really stood out for me was he commanded the stage. And that's one of the things I look for. If you're a true superstar and you're a box office, the people who paid money to watch you play are expecting a show. And he tried to put on a show. And he did in the second game. He was outstanding. He went up against Dylan Harper and the Spurs. It was a marquee matchup on a Saturday afternoon. and he played 31 minutes, dropped 31 points pretty easily. It was an easy 31. It didn't look like he was really putting maximum effort, which is really quite scary for for the rest of the league, because he played that game, and the Mavs had a decent roster, but it wasn't great. The Spurs had a better roster, and Cooper Flagg played point forward, and he was bringing up the ball a lot. Most of the time, he was being guarded by Carter Bryant, and I know Carter Bryant had a decent, from a defensive standpoint, he wasn't bad. But when Cooper Flagg, every time he was matched up against Carter Bryant, he won most of those battles. He got by Carter Bryant rather easily. He got to his spots, even though he didn't make all the shots, but he was able to get to his spots. And he played at a pace that is sustainable. I don't think he looked fatigued at all, which is remarkable for his age, and also given he's only played 2 NBA games. So all the boxes were checked for me. He's going to be a superstar, no doubt about it. And I think it's going to be interesting how Jason Kidd will move ahead with the plan of putting Cooper Flagg at point guard or point forward. That was the plan in Summer League, was to see if Cooper can handle the responsibilities of a point guard. And I thought he did. He was able to beat pressure. Of course, the handle can get tighter, but I think the remarkable thing about him is he doesn't, he'll make mistakes, but it's not mistakes that will, it's not killer mistakes. And he plays at a NBA level pace. So he's not sped up. He's able to move freely, and he doesn't look like he's getting overpowered, or he's not bothered by the physical nature of the game. And also, when you're playing point guard, you're not just worried about the guy in front of you. You're worried about the back end, and also getting your guys involved. And I thought he did a pretty good job with that. He'll get better at it, but it wasn't like he struggled finding seams, finding open guys, and also finishing at the rim. He can do that in his sleep. He's a tremendous athlete, and I thought, he'll naturally get stronger as he gets older. So that part of his game will only get better. Cooper Flagg's a real deal, no doubt about it. Superstar, checks all the boxes. I have, from this draft class, Cooper Flagg was head and shoulders above everybody else. He's on tier 1. Cooper Flagg is on tier 1. Everybody else is on tier 2 and tier 3 and tier 4. So the other guys who, the higher draft picks that I saw, it's about what I expected. When I saw Dylan Harper for the first time, made his debut against Cooper Flagg and the Mavericks on the weekend. And he is, it was worth the wait, first of all. He is definitely a player who uses his body well. He is a big guard. I mean, the 6'6" frame pops, and he moves very well, handles physicality, doesn't get rushed or sped up. It'll be interesting to see how the Spurs use him, because you have De'Aaron Fox and you have Stephon Castle. And Dylan Harper is more effective on the ball. So one of those guys can play off the ball if you play him all at the same time. Most likely, maybe Castle will be off the ball with Harper and Fox doing much of the ball handlings and playmaking. So, but Dylan Harper, he's going to be fantastic. There's a lot of good things to see, even though it was a small sample size. He showed enough and he flashed enough ability to where the Spurs, I think, were good in taking him. Now, the other player that was also as advertised was Derek Queen. Now, what impressed me about Queen was he appeared very nervous in his first game, and he struggled big time. He had like 5 turnovers out of he had 5 turnovers in the first half, 7 turnovers altogether. There were plays where he lost the ball, bringing the ball up the court, tried to make a spin move, lost the ball again. So it was a very rocky start for his pro career. But what I wanted to see was how well he responded and what when presented adversity, I wanted to see how well he bounced back, and he bounced back pretty quickly. Once he settled in, he got better and better. He got more comfortable, and you could just see the confidence was back. He put up a double-double in the games that he played in. He's a capable ball handler for a 6'9" guy, power forward. The Pelicans Summer League head coach, Corey Brewer, wasn't afraid to and didn't hesitate to put the ball in the hands of Derek Queen. Brought up the ball. He brought up the ball a few times and initiated offense. And, the shot will come. He only shot like 46% from the field. Wasn't good. But the double-double was pretty impressive. 14 and 11. 11 is the best. 11 rebounds per game was the best rebounding average in Summer League. So there's a lot to like. Now, he did, there were reports that Shams Charanian from ESPN, saying that he had a wrist injury and it required surgery, so he's going to be out a while, which is unfortunate because it's going to slow down his development heading into his rookie year. And the other guy that the other two guys that I thought were great, that I didn't have any concerns about. Trey Johnson. Trey Johnson was a bucket getter. He can shoot the ball, shot with confidence, and also he's pretty creative. There was a play he made against the Phoenix Suns where I thought he was passing the ball on the wing, but he hit the ball off Kaman Malawach's leg and deflected it off his leg, picked it up, and then scored the layup. Pretty creative move, straight out of a Tracy McGrady playbook. Another guy who played pretty well, and also what I expected was Colin Murray-Boyles for the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors were one of the best teams in Summer League in Las Vegas, and CMB was a big part of their success. He brought the same type of defensive intensity that he played with at South Carolina to the Raptors. It wasn't a big adjustment for him. He basically picked up what he had in college and transitioned to the NBA, seamlessly transitioned to the NBA. He's a little bit of a Swiss Army knife. Defense is going to be his calling card. That came pretty easy for him. He's going to contribute right away defensively for the Raptors. But offensively, he can be a hub too. He can handle a little bit. Shooting comes and goes. He'll need to get better with the shooting. But the Raptors got a good one in Colin Murray-Boyles. He'll be part of the rotation with the Raptors. And there were a few guys who I thought exceeded expectations. Some guys who were drafted late in the first round. They could have been higher, but the Summer League in Vegas was evidence that they should have gone higher. One of them was Joel Berenger, the center from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Berenger made a great first impression. 10 minutes into his debut, going up against New Orleans Pelicans second-year pro Yves Missi. He's a beast. He's a pretty physical center, and Berenger wasn't bothered by it. The 17th pick in the draft, he finished with a then record 7 blocks, and he's 18. He's only 18 years old. You can just see the potential. He played in Slovenia, and there wasn't a lot of tape from his games in Slovenia. So this is the first time you're seeing him against NBA much better competition. And I thought he passed with flying colors. He had 2 blocks on the Pelicans in first possession. One of them was against Jeremiah Fears. And he's very active, doesn't waste any motion. The sky's the limit for him. So the next guy who exceeded expectations was Liam McNeely, forward from the Charlotte Hornets. He was mic'd up for one of the games, and he was chopping it up with one of the referees, calling him Mr. Referee the whole time, which is hilarious. But the former UConn standout he displayed the ability to create his own shot, but also he's very comfortable just being a corner sitter and shoot from the outside, shoot from threes. So he can do both, and he's 6'8". And he looked comfortable in an NBA setting. And he went 29th in the draft, man. And I had him pretty close to my top 12. I just had him outside of my top 12. But if I had to redo my mock, he would definitely be in my top 12. And I should have listened to my instincts and just put him there, because I really liked him heading into the draft. He flashed a lot of NBA level skill at UConn, even though he only played 1 year at UConn. So the next guy who exceeded my expectations was Nick Clifford, forward from the Sacramento Kings. He was the 24th pick in the draft, and he was the best among all the 3-and-D wings. He averaged 18, 6, and 5 in 27 minutes of action. Shot an amazing 58% from the field. And even more amazing was he wasn't a 3-point shooter, or a pretty good one at Colorado State, but he made almost 53% of his 3-point shots in summer league, which is insane. I don't think he's going to shoot that well in the NBA, but the signs show that he's a capable shooter. He is older. He's 23. He looked every bit of an older player, very seasoned, plays with a lot of poise and control. But he's a good fit for the Kings. He's exactly what they need. A steady hand, stays in his lane, understands what he is. He was definitely one of the standouts of the Vegas Summer League. So the last player that I'm going to talk about, who really definitely exceeded my expectations, I think exceeded a lot of people's expectations, and was a pleasant surprise in Summer League, was Yang Hansen, center from the Portland Trail Blazers. The Blazers got a good one. They might have gotten a steal in the draft. From the moment he set foot on the basketball court, the 20-year-old center from China was an instant Summer League favorite. He showcased really good ball handling for a big man. The passing was amazing. He has really good court vision and very good court awareness, too, for an international player who was kind of a mystery going into the draft. He has a very high basketball IQ, and he moves very well. He moves so well for a big man that sometimes you forget that he's a 7-footer. Now, Yang wasn't perfect. He made a ton of mistakes, rookie mistakes. That's to be expected. And he admitted that his conditioning needs to get better. It's not up to snuff, and he'll work at it, and also he'll get stronger, so that he understands that he has a good level of humility and understanding of where he's at in terms of his trajectory, and his NBA journey is just starting, but it'll be fun to watch. Fans love him. His teammates love him. He's got this likable personality. He and uh, he and fellow rookie Caleb Love built up a really nice chemistry, playing off each other. They were doing a lot of non-verbal communicating because Yang is still not proficient in English. But in basketball, you don't need to speak the language to be a really good basketball player. You just need eye contact and hand gestures. That's it. And you can play basketball. And despite the language barrier and having to adjust to living in a new country, Yang passed with flying colors. His nickname was the Chinese Jokic, and he does have a little Jokic in him. He displayed Jokic-like dexterity at the high post, and he was very comfortable being the hub. He was directing traffic. He was impressive, passing the basketball and moving the ball. And he had a very strong debut. Struggled a little bit in the second game for a lot of reasons, mainly because that was probably the first time he's played back-to-back in a professional setting. So that was tough. But even though he struggled, he still scored 10 points. And he made a nice move where he made a nice spin move and scored with the left hand. So the skills are there. And props to the Blazers for taking a big swing in drafting Yang. And the bold move could have a big payoff. Now, it's too early to tell if Yang is going to be the next Bill Walton. But the Blazers are certainly going to be a fun team to watch, and they're going to be very popular in China. The Blazers will have an additional 680 million more followers this season. Now, in terms of players who are still a work in progress, there were quite a few, and I mentioned them already in my other posts on my notebook. Still very much a work in progress is Kaman Malawach, the center from the Phoenix Suns. Malawach is the definition of work in progress player. The size is undeniable. He's a huge individual. He's every bit of the 7'1", 250-pound listing, but the basketball skills are still lacking. New head coach Jordan Ott and the Phoenix Suns coaching staff has some work to do in developing Malawach into a starting NBA center. He has to clean up some stuff, especially shot selection is not very good right now. He has to understand what his strengths are, and he needs to amplify them. He doesn't necessarily have the feel for the game yet, and all his weaknesses showed up in his matchup against Alex Sarr. It was a good test for Malawach. And Malawach couldn't get in any type of rhythm. And for some odd reason, he has fallen in love with shooting three-point shots. He took a lot of them. He took and missed three-point shots. And it continued throughout Summer League. And some were contested. He has to understand timing of shooting these threes. And also, I get it that the analytics show that you need to play the 5-out offense that a lot of teams love now. NBA centers must hit three-point shots, or at least be capable of hitting three-point shots. But for me, I want my NBA center in the paint, because that's where he needs to get rebounds. The four guys out in the perimeter can shoot threes all day long, but I prefer my NBA center to be in the paint. The next guy that work in progress for me is Kasper Jakučionis, the guard from Miami. Jakučionis must love the rims in Las Vegas better than the rims in San Francisco, because he could not hit a shot in Chase Center during the California Classic. But he turned it around when the moment he arrived in Las Vegas. He started making shots, earning praise from Miami Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra for the way he responded. Jakučionis said the NBA style is different, and he needed to make an adjustment to regain his footing. The Heat Summer League coaching staff moved him off the ball on several occasions, which I think I think it helped him out and benefited him, not having to have the ball in his hands all the time. Now, I have a few guys that had me concerned or had some cause for concern. Fears is on top of my list, the guard from the New Orleans Pelicans. Fears, highly touted guard out of Oklahoma. He flashed some of the skills that made him an electrifying prospect, but there were a lot of times when Fears looked like he was playing by himself. He's playing a lot of me ball. He was playing too fast. He was worried about his shots. He was hunting for his shots, which resulted in a lot of bad shots and bad turnovers. Fears, right now, at this stage of his career, lacks court awareness. And for my point guard to lack court awareness is a little alarming or a little concerning. There was a game against the Lakers where he forced the issue a lot. He played a lot of iso ball, which led to 5 for 21 shooting from the field, 23%. And he had 0 assists. In his first 3 games in Vegas, he had 3 assists. Now, he did get better in his 4th game. He had 6 assists. He doubled it. He had 6 assists. If Jeremiah Fears is going to be my point guard, he's going to have to learn how to be a playmaker first before he is my primary scorer. He is 18. He's a young guy. And he definitely showing his age. He has a lot of work to do in terms of being more mature, acting more professional. The immaturity showed up in the game against the Blazers. That was probably his worst outing at the Vegas Summer League. He initiated a dust-up with CD Sissoko that resulted in ejections. Getting ejected in a Summer League game is not a good look, especially for your high first-round pick. So Fears has some work to do. I like the improvement in the last game. So if he can just carry that into training camp and use that as kind of like his template to where he needs to be and kind of just flush the other bad games and start from scratch. Now, the next guy that had some cause for concern is Dalton Knecht, the guard from the LA Lakers. Knecht is a second-year pro. He was the Lakers' first-round pick in 2024, and he was up and down all summer, this summer. He struggled with his shot in the California Classic, and the struggles continued in Las Vegas. In his first 2 games in Las Vegas, he averaged 11.5 points and shot 29% from the field, 26% from three-point range. His best attribute is supposed to be shooting threes, and if he's making 26%, if he's making only 26% of his three-point shots, J.J. Redick is going to have a hard time putting him on the court. You know it's going bad for him when Bronny James, his teammate, was having a better summer league. In 3 games in Vegas, Bronny was averaging 13 points a game and shooting 31% from 3. If Knecht is going to be part of the Lakers' regular rotation, he'll need to be more consistent. And the next guy I have some concern is Carter Bryant, forward from the San Antonio Spurs. It was fascinating to me to see his rise in the draft because I saw him a lot at U of A, University of Arizona, and despite playing a limited role at U of A, he only averaged 6.5 points per game. Started only 5 games in college as a freshman. He was consistently in the lottery, all the mock drafts that I saw. And I can see what people like about him. He is a big 3-and-D guy, big 3-and-D wing. He's the ideal 3-and-D wing. And I was hoping he would live up to that potential. But after watching him in Vegas, he looks like a Jag. which is just a guy. Bryant was underwhelming. In his first 3 games, he was 3 for 24 from 3-point range. It's 12% from 3-point range. Now he finally got it going in the fourth game. He made 4 out of 6 threes, finished with 16 points. That was easily his best game. But he disappears for long stretches, which is, I'm sure, a lot of Arizona fans were frustrated by that when he was playing for them. He could be an effective role player, playing alongside Victor Wembanyama, but he's got a ways to go. And he needs to clean up some stuff. Now, the biggest loser for me in the Vegas Summer League was Noah Esenge, forward from the Chicago Bulls. Now, Esenge became part of Summer League lore in the most awful way. There was a game between the Bulls and Pacers at Cox Pavilion that became a viral hit. Pacers second-year pro Johnny Furpey threw down a dunk on Esenge's head. Monster dunk, cocked it back, slammed it on his head, and the video was posted, widely circulated. But what made it worse for Esenge was his reaction, his facial reaction after getting dunked on. And that became a meme. Esenge became a meme. SportsCenter anchors Nicole Briscoe and Ryan Smith could barely do the highlights without laughing after seeing Esenge's face on the dunk by Furpey. No one would remember in that same game, Esenge had 21 points and he had a decent game. He had a decent stat line. But it was overshadowed by the orgasm face meme. Props to Ryan Clark for coming up with that term. Overshadowed by the orgasm face meme. And it's not how you want to start your pro career. It's going to take an unbelievable rookie season for Esenge to escape the viral moment in Vegas. So that was basically my recap of the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas. It was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of Shaqtin' moments in Vegas, I have to admit. But there were also some good basketball. And like I said before in my other video, I like watching Summer League basketball. I know most basketball pundits see it as a glorified scrimmage. I don't. And also the whole campaign, the slogan at the NBA Summer League is watching tomorrow's stars. These are tomorrow's stars. And you get a little preview of the superstars of tomorrow.